nerdsreviews.com presents Nerds Talking, the podcast.
Yo, we talk about lightsabers, stunning your TV screens, what you want to stream, everything beyond your dreams. Want to talk about movies, sports, or even politics? Go ahead and tune into us, we'll give you all of it. Whatever you're debating, Xbox or PlayStation, Marvel or DC, Mac or PC. Teraflops when the movie drops, gigabytes, chips, RAM, no matter what it is, we got all of it. Welcome to the show.
Nerds Talking, the podcast.
Welcome to Nerds Talking, the podcast. I'm here with Carlos. Hello. He doesn't want to say anything. There he goes. Johnny.
Hey.
And our guest is Angel Medina. Angel, say hello.
Hello to anyone out there who's listening. Is anyone out there listening?
Are we saying that more like a God reference or just people in general?
People in general. I know
okay,
God.
Damn it. I was hoping you didn't hear the last one. Okay. So Angel here, if people aren't aware, Angel Medina, he actually draws comic books for a living. He's drawn a very well-known comic book you might have heard of, Sensational Spider-Man. And he also did Todd McFarlane's Spawn. I think you did, 50 issues of Spawn?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, close to 50. How much Spider-Man did you do?
I didn't do that much. I was scheduled to stay beyond that book for 2 years. That's my average. I usually stay on a book for like 2 years with the exception of Spawn. But the only reason I went to Spider-Man is because I wanted to draw the classic Spider-Man. And about like a year into it, they changed him into that iron costume. And when they changed him into
that's costume, right.
I asked them.
As a matter of fact, we talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that at one of the conventions.
Yeah,
That's right. So we know Angel, Carlos and I, from conventions, man, years ago. I don't know what year it was. We first ran into Angel at. Did you do WonderCon?
It was WonderCon
also.
Yeah, I made. Yeah, Carlos told me that we met at WonderCon, but I don't remember that. I just remember mostly talking to you guys at San Diego.
Like all the San Diegos, but WonderCon, we ran into WonderCon. We shot the shit for a while, and then every after that, we always shot the shit.
Yeah,
and
I always remember
times,
the first time I met you guys, because you guys asked me, one of you asked me, was being a smart ass, and asked me to do a sketch of Elvis.
That was me.
That was Carlos.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, who are these idiots?
Yeah. But my best one is you drew me an ice cream cone. So draw me an ice cream cone.
See,
that's all it was.
Now you wonder why I don't go to San Diego anymore.
You ruined it for him. You ruined it. Oh man, good times. Yeah, I would get all those sketches done in these books. Everybody, and yourself, like Jason Pearson, Ryan Otley. I mean, all these guys. And then I would just donate them, like give them to my local comic shop, and they'd frame them and put them on the wall. And so I thought that was great that these guys would. You walk up to the table, hey, just do a quick sketch, a couple minutes and, knock something out for me. It's going to, go to my comic shop anyway. But nowadays you can't do that, man. You can't walk up to a booth and just be like, hey, you want to draw something for me? Let's see, I got 5 minutes and you have $20. You're like, oh, dude, it's just a head sketch real quick, maybe? Okay, $30. Damn it. I've raised the bar.
Well, that's just because everyone keeps selling them online now,
Yeah, you're right. And that's it. You're right about that. And I get it from an artist's perspective. Like all you can do is sell this and I'm not getting anything out of it. And it makes sense. It does. Like if I ask yourself, a Mark Brooks, guys that are well known, like, a Capullo and so forth, they're not going to just draw you something because they feel like, well, what are you going to do with it afterwards? You know what I mean? And it clearly makes sense to me. But like I said, if you go to the comic shop, the Carlos frequents in Sacramento, California, you'll see all of my sketches on the walls that I collected over the years from people like yourself, Eric Larson. I think Mike Mignola did one, Phil Hester. I mean, I got all these big names that used to do these for free when you used to go to WonderCon in San Diego that there's no way in hell they're going to give you a free sketch these days. So that comic shop came up with a nice amount of drawings.
You didn't keep any of them?
So I think I have like
kept
3. Carlos kept all of his. And the thing is, I had like a sketchbook where I have them all. They all drew in this one book. And then one day, it was when I was moving, and I moved to Los Angeles. I was like, what am I going to do with all of these? Because I'm not going to frame them. I can keep them in the book, but then the book will be just stashed away like in the garage or something. So before I left Sacramento, before I moved, I went to my comic shop. I was like, hey man, you want these? Cool. And he looked through, he's like, wow, these are awesome. You sure you don't want them? And I was like, no. So last time when I went to the shop next, he had them all framed, all on the wall. And I was like, that's a good use of them. That's just, that's great. Use them in your comic shop, and it kind of raises your profile a little bit. Now you have all these cool artist drawings on your wall. Not too shabby. So,
and now people,
but no, I didn't keep it. Yeah, exactly. No one's going to see him. Exactly right. It's like when people buy prints. So Carlos and I do cons. We sell prints nowadays and whatnot. And, do something, people. Be proactive if you buy art. Don't be lazy. Damn it. That's what I say. Right, Johnny?
Johnny looks like he doesn't care. Should he be here?
Well, first Angel, your video isn't on, so I can't see your facial reactions.
That's because half my face looks like Marlon Brando right now. I had dental work 2 days ago.
Nice.
I had 2-3 plates, and so I got like half. I look like I got cotton in my mouth right now. So
I get it.
I'm trying to get the off-color tooth pulled out.
Oh no, not that one. No, I wish.
That one never came back to the party.
Yeah.
All right. No, I was never really into comic books. I guess I just never had the money to really get into them. And so I'm wondering explain it to, let's say I'm kind of dumb about comics. And why don't you explain to me like what you guys would do at a booth and the whole Comic-Con thing. I mean, the only thing I know about Comic-Con is, what you see on TV, cosplay and just the conventions where they talk about the new movies coming out and stuff like that. But so you guys rent booths there? And then what happens with the booth?
Well, basically what it is more Comic-Cons. When they first got started, it was basically a lot of like all the other conventions where it's really just fans get to meet like the artists there. And that was the main thing that they started these things for, to all get their books autographed and stuff. But then it grew to the point where artists started doing sketches for fans there. And that sort of became another way to make money at these conventions. So mostly it's more artists will go there to either promote what they're working on or to, just do sketches for artists, for the fans and make a little extra money that way and stuff. And the thing is that's the way most people approach conventions. I've always been separate from the crowd in that I started going to conventions because I'm really a hardcore nerd. I'm really, really hardcore comic book nerd. And I just wanted to be able to go somewhere and talk comics with people without getting my ass kicked. Because that's the time I grew up. I grew up at a time where if you talked about comics, you were about to get your ass kicked. Because I also grew up in a poor, tough neighborhood stuff. So when I went to my first convention, I was sort of like, oh my God, my wings are spreading free out here because I can talk anybody about comic books. So I go to comics more just so I could nerd out. And what we're talking about here tonight about, Iron Man versus Batman type stuff, that's the stuff I could do over at conventions. So I go more for that than I actually go to draw. But most other artists just go there more because it's a good way to make some, supplemental income, as they say.
It is true. You do go to cons to talk.
Yes.
Yeah. No joke. Carlos and I will search you out. Be like, let's go talk to Angel. And then we'll just bullshit for like an hour. Hey, we'll be back later, man. And we just come back, bullshit some more, and we'll just talk about whatever. I remember one time, Carlos probably remembers this too. We're all bullshitting, and these two kids come up to you. They have a portfolio, and they're from art school. And he shows you his comic book pages, and they were, not gonna lie, they were pretty brutal. And you were being really nice to this kid. Yeah, just work on this, a little bit of that. He's like, yeah, I go to this art school and I'm trying to be a comic book artist. And yeah, just do this, you want to, don't mean to the kid. And he walks away and I'm like, oh, that was brutal. Like a 5-year-old drew it. You just were like, yeah, I don't want to tell him that though, because he goes to art school. He pays a lot of money for that. And I was like, oh, it's like, man, it's just heartbreaking sometimes, those kids that do that, pay all that money for art school to be a comic artist. And every comic artist I've ever known or met, I say everyone, but I say 90% never went to art school. They're self-taught. I'm not sure about yourself. Did you go to art school, Angel?
Yeah, I did. But I could draw comics at that time when I went to art school. Art school more just first of all, let me correct that. I didn't go to art school. I went to college, university, majored in illustration. But I was just doing that more just to waste time until I got into the business, you know. So, and I don't know if I ever told you this, but I really, really lucked out because when I went to college, I went to the Northern Illinois University. There was one course that you took that was just called illustration. That's all it was. And since that was my major, I had to take that class. And when I looked at the teachers, the professors who were teaching that class, I saw one guy's name was Mark Nelson. And I thought, well, that's the same name as this comic book artist who draws the Alien comic books. At that time, the movie Aliens had a comic book that was being published. And I thought, well, since he has the same name, I'll just take that as kismet and take him as my instructor. Then when I took the class, I found out that that is that same comic book artist who drew the comic book. So by sheer coincidence, I went to Northern Illinois University, and my main instructor turned out to be a comic book artist just by sheer coincidence.
See, that's cool though. Yeah. Before we jump on our first topic, a couple of questions for you. What was your favorite gig in comics? The book that you just enjoyed drawing the most?
I probably have to say, probably Kiss, the Kiss Psycho Circus book that I did.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was great. Yes.
But you know, it's funny because I was a fan of Kiss when I was I was in middle school, but that only lasted for like 2 years. So it wasn't I was not really a big fan of Kiss, and to be honest with you, I didn't even want to draw the comic book. Todd talked me into it, but the reason it turned out to be the most fun is because that's the book I had the most creative freedom on. So I got to do whatever I wanted to do on that book. Todd tried to give me as much freedom on Spawn, but Spawn already had established a certain canon to it, so I couldn't go as crazy on Spawn as I did on Kiss. So that's probably the most fun book I've ever done. But I really, to be honest with you, I think I've enjoyed every book I've ever done.
Yeah, Kiss was great. Kiss was, I think Kiss was the book that I already followed you as an artist, but Kiss was the book I was like, oh man, like you said, you were let out of your shell, you know? Yeah. You were just go on full force. And that book was pretty cool. Like the way they did the book was pretty cool.
That's why I agreed to do it, is because it got to the point where we got to be so creative with it that I was thinking the same thing you were. I was saying, man, this has turned out to be a pretty cool book. And the funny thing is, I didn't know if the Kiss fans would respond to it really well, because we weren't really trying to follow Kiss. We were just trying to do a really cool book. And the fans, they went nuts over it.
Oh, I think those fans would buy anything you slap Kiss on, you know?
Yeah.
So, but the book was cool. There's just the way you guys took the angle of each individual bandmate and made them their own, you know, Power Ranger and so forth. Like that whole cool aspect, their own little powers, and it's pretty cool. And Spawn was badass. If you're a Spawn fan out there, you know, Angel drew 50 issues of Spawn after Greg Capullo. And who took over after you? Will Portacio? No.
I don't remember. I remember Philip Tan took over at some point, but I don't remember. Oh,
Philip Tan. Yeah. I think you were right. It's Philip Tan. Yeah. Philip Tan. Not my favorite.
Hey, before we go on, you know, I got a really cool story about San Diego and the Kiss book. Do you want me to go ahead and tell it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one year at when I was working on the Kiss book, we had I don't know how familiar you guys are with Kiss, but there were the original 4 members. And then after the 4 members, 2 of them who ended up leaving the group, they got replaced. And only like the hardcore fans know of them. And one of the members that got replaced, his theme was a fox.
Yeah, the drummer.
Simmons, a Demon, and Star Child, and all those other guys. Well, this new guy came in, and he was like probably the most popular of the alternative, and his name was Eric Carr, and he put the makeup on of a fox, and he ended up passing away really early from cancer. And so when we started doing the comic book, we were only focusing on the 4 members, and Todd kind of advertised that we're going to focus on those 4 members. But me, since I was allowed so much freedom on it, I started taking like symbols from the alternative members, like the Fox guy, and I would throw their symbols somehow in the background, like find some way to incorporate it and stuff.
Yeah.
So fans started getting this hint of, like, wow, I wonder if any of the other alternative members are going to show up. So then Todd decided to do a story where we would surprise the fans, and we would do this 2-story arc that would introduce Eric Carr, the Fox member. And so after we did that, now the story takes place in feudal Japan, like back in ancient Japan. And I'm a big fan of the Akira Kurosawa movies, and some of them cover that period of time in Japan. And I noticed that whenever they showed like an army scene in the movies, that these armies would carry these banners that it would have these Japanese characters on them. And so in the comic, I had to draw this ancient acting / circus troupe in Japan, and I had them carry these banners, these different banners. And I wanted to put the Japanese characters on them, but I didn't want to put random Japanese characters on them. So what I did is I got a list of Kiss's songs, and I got a Japanese translation book, and I translated a lot of the titles of the songs into Japanese, and I put them on those banners. That's now, cool. I did that more for myself. I just thought it'd be a cool thing to have there, just so these banners, but I didn't notice them because they were in the Japanese language, And so after I did that issue, it went out, and I didn't think anyone would pay that much attention to it. That following year, I'm at the San Diego convention, and I went to take a break, and I'm sitting at one of the tables near the concessions where they sold concessions. There's a big round table, and I see this Japanese film crew. You know how they had people from all over the world at these things? There's this Japanese film crew. They weren't walking near my table, and I didn't notice them too much. But then I noticed that they were making these motions towards my direction. I didn't think they were pointing at me. I thought they looked like they were lost, and I thought they were trying to find their way. So then they end up coming towards my table, and the Japanese lady who is in charge of doing the interview, she comes up to me in broken English, and she says, "Excuse me, are you Angel Medina?" And I go, "Oh, yeah." She said, "Could we do a quick interview with you right now?" And she said she's, from Japanese TV, blah, blah, blah. And so I said, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." So, I wiped the mustard because I was eating a hot dog off I wiped it off my face, prepared myself. And so she starts asking me about the Kiss book. And I had forgotten that Kiss, the band, they were huge in Japan before they became big here in America. And I thought, oh, yeah, that's right. Now I know why they wanted to interview me. Now, that Japanese issue that I did, in that same issue, Todd put a profile on me where he interviewed me that. And in that issue, they have a picture of me in there. So that's how this crew recognized me, because they saw my picture in that issue. And so she starts asking me questions about the Kiss book. And then at one point she asked me, we noticed here in Japan that on the banners, you put all these Kiss songs on the banners in the background there. And she said, she asked me, was that your way of saying hello to all your Japanese fans? And I thought about it, and I said, yes, that's exactly what I was trying to do. So.
Oh, sneaky bastard.
Yeah, you can see one of the crew guys back there. He's clapping his hands and stuff, going, "Oh yeah," geeking out and stuff like that. So.
Man, just Johnny, are you impressed? I know
that story reminded me of the scene where they see Bruce Lee in China, and they're like, "Wait, the Green Hornet's the best here. You want to make movies with me? You could have got a Japanese wife out of that, Angel."
Yeah, I know.
Fantastic. All right, let's take a break here. We'll be right back with more on Nerds Talking, the podcast.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a random thought that no one seems to want to talk about? Just a random obscure thought that no one will talk to you about. Maybe it's because no one cares. Like in Power Rangers Zeo, how they're supposed to be powered by the Zeo crystal, and it's supposed to be this super powerful thing. But then they just stop using it and switch to Turbo, where they have giant cars. Or maybe it's because it's outdated. My entire generation didn't get a chance to react to Darth Vader saying, "No, I am your father," because my parents' entire generation can't keep a secret. Did you know Elvis Presley once made a movie in which he cures a little girl's autism? In the TV show Lilo and Stitch, Stitch falls in love with one of his cousins, as he calls them. Matthew McConaughey and Gary Oldman once made a movie called Tiptoes, in which they play twins, and Gary Oldman's a dwarf, and they have a cousin who's a communist from France played by Peter Dinklage. These are the kind of things I want to react to. That's why I started this podcast. To talk about the stuff I care about. To have guests on and make them talk about the stuff I care about. To hopefully find some of you that care about the stuff I care about. And in the coming weeks, we're going to address the big questions and the small questions that we're addressing. We're going to talk about ASD representation in TV shows and films. We're going to talk about the philosophy behind some of your favorite films and some of your least favorite films. And hopefully we'll figure out why podcasters always seem to talk like this. So join us next time and for weeks to come on Hot Tub Thoughts, the place where your thoughts think.
Welcome back to Nerds Talking the Podcast. I'm Lafayette. I'm here with Carlos, Johnny, and Angel. And we're going to jump into a topic here that has come up as it's a comic book topic. Johnny, I know you're not much of a comic book person, but you've seen the movies, right? So
Yep.
Should be all caught up. The movies fill you in, give you the blanks. Especially this topic here. It's a good old Batman versus Iron Man. Two billionaires who are also, I wouldn't say crime fighters. They don't necessarily fight crime. They do more than that. Well, Batman, I guess, Batman is known as a would it be a Avenger or vigilante? Whoa. Crusader's good.
He's
and
a vigilante.
Yeah, he's a vigilante more than anything. And then, of course, our buddy Tony Stark, he himself, well, he's an Avenger. So, who wants to lead this off? Batman v Iron Man, and it's who do you think is richer between the two? Let's start there. Who's the richer one?
Well, I got to ask this though. Has that ever been covered? I know that Iron Man, he's into munitions. That's what that's what Stark International is about. But did they ever cover what Wayne Corporation is supposed to? What do they manufacture? What's their business?
Well, in the movies, it was military. They do they make military vehicles and so forth. In the comics, I am not sure what Wayne Enterprise does, to be honest with you.
Well, that's why I knew the movies were like that too. That's why I asked if there was
Yeah. The thing is, he spends no time really in the business world in the comics, like little to no time.
Right.
He basically wakes up, works out, tells Alfred, "Get my suit ready," and goes out and fights crime, and then comes home and repeat, rinse, and so forth. So I'll be honest, I don't know how Wayne Enterprises makes money. I guess a hedge fund, good investing. They own a chain of 7-Elevens. I don't know what Wayne Enterprise does. Johnny
started Bitcoin. That's
so a very cryptocurrency.
Yeah, but they call it Batcoin.
Good old Batcoin. Nice. I don't know what they do. I mean, I assume Tony Stark is richer because the whole tech thing.
Well, Tony Stark in the movies and in the comics, the whole point of Iron Man is to show the business side of it. So that's why you get to see him more because Tony Stark they focus more on Tony Stark, the millionaire, whereas Batman is always more like the only reason Batman. His millionaire status is there is so give him an excuse to have all his weapons.
It's true. You're right. And then Tony Stark is public to who he is. Everybody knows he's Iron Man and his tech company. And you're right. Batman's only premise of even holding on to his company is to hold on to his toys. Yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, I always thought that was odd. Like, just I think Carlos and I talked about this. How many times a night does he actually go out as Batman? Because he can't do that nightly. That has to be tiring. He's been shot, stabbed, beat up, beat to death. My guess is he only goes out maybe like 30 nights a year, really, in reality, and only goes out maybe when he hears that some no good villain's up to no good.
Yeah, I always thought he went out just when he got that signal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's not going out, Gordon's not going to turn it on because, somebody robbed the bank.
Yeah.
That's what and that's the thing. So what does he do in his off time? Is he going to the boardroom? Is he, is he attending the meeting, signing the checks? And
I always thought he was more like a Howard Hughes type. Remember how Howard Hughes used to stay sequestered most of the time and take meetings like over like the voice phone and stuff like that?
Yeah. No one will actually see him.
He's way more like that.
Well, to me, he'd be more like that because he's so no one can know that I'm Batman,
Right.
So I have to be this reclusive, almost like almost like people might think he's crazy.
Right.
Like
Like Howard Hughes type. Yeah.
He thought he was crazy too. Yeah. So I'll give that one. I'll give it to Tony Stark though. For when it comes to who's richer, I'm pretty sure he's loaded in the comics. Johnny, who do you give it to?
Not to counterpoint that argument, but I also think that, how Bruce Wayne is known for his, he needs setup time in order to beat any villain. What did they call it? Prep time. They call it prep time. Mm-hmm. I figure if he's smart enough to do that, he's probably smart enough to do what Howard Hughes did. Whereas he might not be like Tony, but maybe he's smart enough to like set up his company so that they, expand to other things other than weapons. So that's probably one advantage he might have over Tony Stark is that he just knows how to buy. Well, this company, I might buy Armor Dial, who make, soap, and just have them as a subsidiary.
He owns Netflix.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like, that's his backdrop. Like, here's your 7 companies you own: Netflix, Dial Soap Company.
Yeah.
And,
well, I would say he's more
Bitcoin.
like a one-man Disney, where Disney owns everything.
Yeah, and nobody knows it though. Yeah. He's just Johnny, who's the winner? Moneybags.
Tony Stark. He's got that new money. I think Batman or Bruce Wayne's got that old money and
dead money.
Yeah, it's dead money.
Yeah, that's so sad what you just said. His parents died, bro. His parents died. Carlos, new money, old money, Tony or Bruce?
I don't know. I think, man, Tony's got to have more money than Bruce because Tony just has more high-end toys, high-end tech gadgets. And I can imagine, because he's an alcoholic as well, so I can imagine him just blowing money like late night on infomercials or like late night Amazon shopping. But he still has a ton of money, so it doesn't really faze him. He's like, whatever. I just bought a fucking purple llama, and it's in the backyard eating grass. That's cool.
Well, that's also a Tony's flaw. He's an alcoholic. So, well, he was. They don't portray that in the comic much anymore. He went through that phase.
But I think that's what makes him more human than Batman. Batman's kind of like a robot.
Yeah, Batman has a bunch of adopted children for sidekicks. So, there's that. So,
well, let's not get into that because you say it's adopted children. We don't know if he uses them as children. So.
No, he doesn't. No, that's just it. They're not children. Yeah. They're just put that little goofy suit on. Yeah. And follow me out in the rain. We're going to stand on a gargoyle for 2 hours. For what? Yeah. Just do it and shut up.
Hey, Robin, put on these
it's always odd.
Briefs.
Yeah. And I always think that's odd too. Batman loves to stand in the rain looking for trouble. You would think on those nights he's not going out. He's like, it's pouring rain, Alfred. I'm going to stay in. Oh, but Joker's killed 3 people. Did you hear me, Alfred? It's raining. I'm good. We'll wait till tomorrow when it clears up. So Batman versus Iron Man. So how do you guys play this out? Because in the comics, Batman can't lose no matter what. He just can't. And Iron Man does lose. But Batman, for God's sakes, Batman beat Superman. Like, are you going to compare?
I'm only basing this off the movie. So, like, when I choose Iron Man, don't say, like, oh, and, comic book 36, it says that Iron Man has a small dick. Like, I don't know these little facts. Okay?
That was 34.
I just know that Iron Man is cooler. He seems more social. people love him. Bruce Wayne is dark. He's a, I always get this wrong, emo.
Hey, emo.
I always say emu. I was like, no, he's not a big ass bird. No, he's a emo, and I think he goes out and fights crime when he's fucking upset and wants to beat the shit out of somebody.
But yeah, I like how you choose it though. You're choosing it basis on like their personal life, and if you knew them personally, like if Bruce called you, Johnny, come over for a barbecue this weekend. Ooh, Tony's having one too. I think it might be a bit better. I don't know, Bruce. Rain check? It's raining. Okay, no barbecue. You're right. I'm staying in. Like it's just Carlos. How about you? Batman, Iron Man.
Well, the reason this topic even I brought it up was because they're both human. Neither one have superpowers, so they rely on their money to be super. Like in the Justice League, where Flash asked Bruce Wayne what his power was, he just says, "I'm rich." That's it. But if I had to pick, well, man, I'm a DC guy, so I'm going Batman.
Okay, we got one for Batman, one for Iron Man. Angel, you're up.
Well, I'm gonna cheat here. I'm gonna give you a real nerd answer.
Yeah. Give me. Of course, it's Nerds Talking the podcast.
Because I'm gonna tell you, here's what's gonna happen when Batman fights against Iron Man. Is that they'll probably start fighting for a little while there, but eventually they'll come to realize that they're both on the same side and that there's a bigger evil out there, and that's what they have to go against.
Goddamn Kong versus
What did I tell you, man? Hey, man. I know this shit, all right? This is the way it's gonna go, all right?
You just pulled a movie trope on us. I mean, Martha, like, why did you say that name?
That's what makes them heroes, Lafayette. That's what makes them heroes.
Oh man.
As
I mean, you're not wrong.
Tony is, as crazy as Batman is, at the end of the day, they do good.
That is true. But how do you feel about Batman always letting the villain not get away, but just locks them up and they'll escape again 100 times over to kill more people, and he just keeps locking them up?
That's not Batman's fault. That's the writer's fault.
The writer. I mean, the writer is Batman, really, when you think about it.
No, because if Batman was smart, he knows that he can't allow like the Joker to live and stuff, because he knows that guy's never gonna,
Buy straight. They're gonna rehab.
Not to try to self-promote or anything like that, but I am trying to put my own comic book together, and one of the characters I created was to kind of answer that question. I have this character who's like a vampire, and what he does is he goes around. He's a superhero, but he goes around killing all the supervillains that he knows have no chance of ever, like, what is it they call rehabilitating and stuff like that?
Rehabilitate, yeah.
Right. So if my vampire character, his name is Bloodstain. If Bloodstain was in the DC universe, the first villain he would kill would be the Joker, because there's no saving this guy, man. If you put him in jail, he's just gonna keep escaping and doing what he does. So he just goes ahead and kills the guy.
All right, new question. Now we got a third character showed up. All right, Bloodstain, Batman, Iron Man.
Well, with Bloodstain, I mean, he's gonna kill. Is he gonna do vampire things like suck their blood? Like, what happens when he sucks the Joker's blood? And the dude's obviously a tweaker, a functional tweaker, so he's got some meth and crack up in that. Like, what happens when you drink crack blood?
And he has ace chemicals in his blood too.
Oh yeah. Well, that too.
Yeah. Don't forget about that. Yeah. And then what if the Joker, prior to meeting Bloodstain, just ate like garlic pizza or something? Or
the garlic might affect him, but not the meth. He's a vampire. He's been living forever.
That is true. He's probably done meth. You're probably right. He's probably done meth. Does he look cool though? Does he look like a superhero, or does he look like a Morbius type?
No, he looks like a superhero. He's making an effort to look like a superhero.
All right. I like this idea already. All right. I mean, I'm going to pick Batman myself because for some reason in the comics, Batman knows everything. It doesn't matter what you can try to come up with. He's the smartest guy. He's the toughest guy. He'll figure it out. There's no getting around Batman. He can speak every language. He knows every type of martial arts. I mean, how he obtains all this information and holds on to it is incredible. Like, they make him a super genius, basically, crime fighter alongside 12-year-old boys. So,
well, I always thought that was his superpower, was not the 12-year-old boys, but it's mine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
he's a detective. He's the world's greatest detective.
Right, exactly.
So he's got to know these things.
But does he, like, how do you practice at home being a detective? Because again, if we're imagining he's only going out 30 times a year, he's only going for the hardcore stuff. He's not going for the little bullshit. What is he doing? How does he practice this? Does he
read
Clue a lot?
Hardy Boy books?
Oh, so he reads Hardy Boy books. He plays Clue a lot. Does he watch like detective shows? He watches what is that? True crime shows a lot. Kind of
First 48.
Together.
First 48.
I bet you he watches those shows. First 5 minutes, figures it out. He just turns it off. Doesn't even finish it.
Hey man, that's a good idea for a comic book scene, is to actually show Bruce Wayne watching one of those true crime stories and solving it in his head. But he doesn't do shit about it because he goes, I'm Bruce Wayne. I take care of I take down the Joker and stuff. Let these guys handle that stuff.
Well, plus it's probably on one of his streaming services.
Oh, that'd be good though. It shows like a notepad, right? And the episode names, and he like puts who did it and how much time it took for him to figure it out. And like,
yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah, it's like an 8-episode thing. He figured out 30 minutes in the first one. And he was like, stupid cops, I could have figured this out already. You know, calls Tony. Hey, Tony, did you figure it out? Huh? What? I'm drunk. That's right. Hangs up. And he's drunk at the Saturday barbecue with Johnny. That's right. Johnny's drinking with Tony while Bruce is crying, watching true crime.
I mean, you're just really enhancing my opinion there, because think about going to a barbecue with Bruce Wayne, and he's like, and I tell a story. He's like, "Come on, hey, I already figured you out. You're lying because of this system."
That's so true. You walk in right away, and he profiles you right away.
Yeah,
right there. He like breaks it all down to the guy standing beside him. The guy beside him just eating a hot dog, going, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "That guy right there. I know he's on a podcast." Well, okay. And he went to Tony's party earlier, son of a bitch. Like, yeah, you're right. All right. Batman's kind of a stalker, I guess, but not like physically. He just knows shit.
I mean, could you imagine him on the podcast? I'm telling my fucking dolphin tattoo story. Like, no, you weren't drunk at all. I know you wanted that because you fucking love rainbows and
that is true. Batman,
Care Bears.
You're right. He could be a dick. The only time you ever see him in the movies was Batman versus Superman, where he's actually in the boardroom and that guy hands him a stack of like letters from, you know, that one guy that never cashes his checks. And it made you feel like, oh, look, he's at work. That's what I thought. I almost was proud of him. Bruce is at work today.
Well, he did show up,
and he was trying to get to
Nolan's
work.
Movie.
What's up?
He did show up hungover in Nolan's movie. Yeah, he was sitting at the boardroom
but he wasn't working. Though.
He was sleeping.
Yeah, he wasn't working. Yeah, he wasn't in BVS. He looked like he was at work. He had the suit on, and you know, even at the beginning when he's trying to race to the building to save everyone because Batman and Zod are destroying shit, he's going to work. Like he actually, you know, he gives a shit in those movies. But other Batman movies,
pause this topic for a second because I want to know what you guys think of the Batman versus Superman, where that guy doesn't cash the checks because he feels that Bruce Wayne is responsible for his that he's paraplegic now. Is that the reason? I just knew he was real bitter towards Bruce Wayne, but why?
It's Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor sets him up and sets the blame on Bruce and Superman.
Yeah, but he doesn't cash any of Bruce's checks.
Yeah, but doesn't
Bruce
he not cash them because Lex pays him or some shit?
I don't think so. I think he was already bitter, and then Lex just
took advantage of
it.
Yeah.
Angel, did you see that? Of course you saw BVS.
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, goddamn you.
Yeah, well, I know. It's one of those things I keep meaning to watch. I should watch it, but I've heard so many bad things about it. As you know, I'm dragging my feet on watching it. I watched like Aquaman and Shazam and all those. I just haven't watched the movies that get really bad reviews. It takes me a long time to finally get around to seeing them.
So you didn't see the new Justice League Snyder cut?
No, I didn't see the new Justice League.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Don't watch the original. Watch the new cut. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I heard. I heard the new cut's a lot better. The 4-hour one.
Yeah, it's like night and day. It's like 10 times better. BVS you will enjoy. There's some goofy parts in it, but yeah, Johnny's right. The guy doesn't cash the checks. He blames Bruce Wayne. Is it because he blames him for not getting them out of the building in time? I feel
like he was already crazy because he was like he had seen Bruce and Bruce said something like, hang tight, buddy, or something like that. He called me buddy, and why would a buddy let me? Some shit.
Isn't
like that
right? No, you're right. Isn't he? His legs were crushed, and Bruce tries to get it, help him. Remember? And then Bruce tells him hang tight or some shit, and then Bruce runs off to save the little girl.
Yeah,
I think that's it. Yeah, and then he ends up getting his legs freaking amputated, and that. And that Angel's like, I gotta go see this now. What the hell are they talking about? Yes. So, we have 2 votes for Batman, 1 for Iron Man, and Angel did the old team up bullshit movie trope. God damn it! How'd you pull that one out? I mean, seriously.
I still think mine's is the best answer.
Well, yours is what's gonna. If they made a book, that would happen. You know this already, because all comic books. I always hated buying books like that. Spawn versus Batman. No, it's really Spawn and Batman versus whoever the third person is.
Yeah.
Like, don't give me that crap. God damn it! Nobody fights to the death anymore except for Bloodstain. It sounds like he's gonna kill everyone. Son of a gun. All right.
Now, can you guys break down real quick how comic books work? Like, Angel, when you do a comic book, are you doing all the illustrations, and are you just going off of, like, say, a script? So I was always curious about that. Is it a team of artists, or is it just you doing the whole comic book? And then how many pages are you doing?
Actually, it's usually a team. And the reason I say usually is because there are exceptions here. There's some people who take it all on. They'll do the art, the story, and everything. Mm. But usually the books I work on, I only draw the stuff. But they send me like a loose plot. It's not really like a script. They usually send me a very loose plot, and then I interpret that down on the page. And then after that, that's all I do is I'll just draw it. And then I send it to somebody else will put the word balloon, someone else will color it and stuff like that. But they have other artists who do more than that. They'll put the colors, or they'll put the inks, or they'll put the word balloons on and stuff. It depends on which artist you're working at, because the comic book medium is really based around what the artists can do or what they want to do, because there are, like, I got a friend of mine, Alex Ross. He does almost all of it from beginning to end, where I just want to draw the thing. I don't want to have to sit there and try to figure out what exactly they're going to say or what the balloons are going to go like and stuff like that. So that's kind of a hard question to answer, because it depends on every artist will give you a different way of how they approach their book or whatever. But that's the cool thing about this industry. It's very malleable for creative folk that are doing.
Oh man, Alex!
Do you guys remember the movie Chasing Amy?
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah. So in that movie, Jason Lee, he gets a lot of shit for they were basically calling him like a tracer.
He's a tracer. Yeah.
So do you guys give inkers shit?
Because of that movie. Because of that movie. Serious, man. As a matter of fact, the inker on Kiss, he used to get pissed a lot because I would say that to him all the time. But I would say to him whenever we had to do like a panel discussion at a convention, and the audience would laugh their asses off when I would say that, but I could see Kevin's face just get red with anger because he did not think it was funny at all. I thought it was funny just getting him pissed like that in front of a bunch of people and stuff. And they'd laugh even more when they saw how mad he got about it.
Who was the inker on that book?
Kiss?
Yeah.
Kevin Conrad.
Okay. I thought so. Okay. Yes. All right. Yes. John, this is a good question, because if you're into comics, the inkers also as much as the artist by name. Like you recognize it. And Angel knows this. There's good inkers and there's not so good inkers.
Oh, yeah. Inkers have been the bane of my existence.
Yeah, believe me. There's some guys where, like, you'll have a book you love and you're like, oh, man, I love buying this for the art. And then all of a sudden, you could tell a different inker jumped on you. You're like, oh, wow, this guy's shit. Like, he's totally screwed up his art, you know? Like, you could tell. Inkers, man. I mean, the good inkers, they're recognizable by name just right off the bat. And even color guys nowadays. Color guys, like, you'll know, man, this guy's a great color guy. But, yeah, no, there's typically 3 guys on the book. Artist, inker, color guy.
What's the difference between an inker and a color guy?
Well, the inker, so when Angel draws a page, he passes it on to the inker. He's the guy that goes over top with the actual ink pens. Yeah. So he does that. He does all that. And
okay.
Sometimes those guys will add shit to the page, or they won't. Or they'll take detail away from the artist's art. They won't even. Yeah. So yeah. And then of course, the color guy, that's basically simple, right? Color shit. But
inkers are a really angry bunch, not just because of Chasing Amy, but also because now printing has gotten so good that now books are allowed to be printed without an inker on there. The original job of the inker was to put ink over the pencil so they could print better. Mm-hmm. Now printing technology has gotten to the point like, who's that artist who passed away? I know the guy. Turner, Michael Turner.
Michael Turner.
Yeah. If you look at the last years of his life, he didn't have an inker. All the stuff was shot right off pencils. And like Joe Madureira's doing that now. There's a lot of
Joe does that.
That's the route I'm trying to go with. So inkers were always an angry bunch because they were never like really respected as real artists. But now they're even worse because they're starting to see that it's almost like their job titles being phased out now. The better the printing technology is getting.
Well, especially with digital, isn't digital kind of taking their
especially if it's a digital, especially.
Yeah, digital art almost eliminates the inker because as a digital artist, you're already doing the inking, really.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like your new book. Are you doing digital or are you doing traditional?
I'm doing traditional with some digital on there. Like the non-important pages, I'm going to do digitally wise.
Yes, I got a
the important pages.
I got a buddy doing
See,
I got a buddy doing the same thing.
One thing people don't realize about digital is that's almost money out of an artist's pocket now because in old school days you could sell the original pages at a con.
Right.
And now no one has any digital. I mean, there's no digital pages out there to sell. As a matter of fact, because of that, in this industry, the amount of price that you pay for an original page has gone up by like a lot. And I'm going to hold on to all my artwork because I could be selling it now for 10 times more than before. And that's because it's becoming more and more rare.
Yeah, you're right. So a buddy of mine's drawing a book now, and he draws the pages that he think he can sell with pencil, and the pages where he's like, this is just a bunch of dialogue and no one cares. He goes digital. So, and it's a smart way to do it. It's a really smart way to do it. All right,
who's your buddy?
Elliot Fernandez.
Angel
knows who that is. Do you know Elliot Fernandez, Angel?
No.
Okay, well there you go, Carlos. He doesn't know him. Only I know.
They're friends on Facebook. I've seen it.
I got plenty of friends on Facebook.
Dude, I talk to a crap load of people on Facebook, so I might,
Yeah. I mean, I have Todd McFarlane's my friend on Facebook. You think we hang out? No, he's the Bruce Wayne to my life.
Dude, I got like
hang out.
5,000 friends on my Facebook. I don't know any. I know you two. I know the you and.
And you know Johnny now. It's like, hey, there you go, another one, 5,001.
Hey Johnny, are we Facebook friends?
I don't think so. I think all I have is Tom, or is that MySpace?
That's MySpace.
MySpace, damn.
Whoa. Let's not. Angel, don't you still have an AOL email address?
Yeah, I know. Everyone makes fun of me. Yeah.
No, it's rare these days. Now that's like original comic art, having an AOL email. All right, let's take a break here on Nerds Talking the Podcast. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, this is Lafayette. And I'm Carlos from Nerds Talking the Podcast. That's right. Where we talk about everything from UFOs, comic books, movies, streaming services, conspiracy theories, ghosts, video games, and more. All on Nerds Talking the Podcast.
You can find us every Friday with new episodes on all digital platforms where you find your favorite podcast, Nerds Talking
the podcast. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Nerds Talking the Podcast. Here with Carlos, Johnny, Angel, and I'm Lafayette. And Angel, so Mr. Comic Book Artist, you have a comic book that you're working on, and why don't you give a little bit of detail on that? And maybe, are you going to update it on your Instagram? Like, where can people find information, or when are you going to start dropping information about your upcoming project?
Probably about a year, right? So, right? There's two modes. When I worked with Todd McFarlane, I learned a lot from him. One of the things he told me is don't try to be a publisher and an artist at the same time, because they're both two full-time jobs. So I'm in artist mode right now. So I'm trying to stack up a bunch of the pages right now. And then when I get, several issues worth stacked up, then I'm going to switch over to publisher mode. And when I switch over to publisher mode, that's when I'll know exactly when I'll have like publishing date and stuff like that. And that's when I'll start like publicizing all over social media.
Are you planning to crank out numerous issues at once, or just like 148 pager to start? Or
no, I want to have regular issue size, because I'm going to have this out both as a digital and as a physical comic, and I want to do it the old school way, where you did one issue after another. Yeah, but still be able to collect, because you can collect them later on in like a hardcover or something like that. So
yeah, and then you already have your team lined up, your inker, your color guy.
I've got like 3 years worth of stories already.
Oh, okay.
Put down. I just have to draw it down. Yeah.
Well, how far are you into, say, issue 1?
Oh, that's all done.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you're already on the roll. You're already on.
Yeah,
what issue are you on right now?
I think I'm on halfway through 4 right now.
Oh, okay. Sheesh, yeah. You are rocking it right now. You're
but it's taken me a long time to do it. So
yeah. And give us the premise of your book.
Well, it's basically just my superhero universe, kind of like what you see with Invincible going on with Invincible. And now that's basically it, just my take on it, because I have a different, like, for example, one of the main characters is the vampire character.
Yeah.
The Bloodstain. And the reason I came up with like a character, a Bloodstain, is because it frustrates me when I see how Hollywood or just media tends to handle vampires in general. Because I always just think a vampire should be really, really smart, because he's been alive for centuries.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's, you just get. There's a great movie that I saw, an independent movie called Man from Earth, and it's basically a story about a guy who's lived for like centuries, but it was written by a guy who's like who knows a lot about science, and so he actually delves into what a guy who's been alive for so long, how he would be thinking compared to us. And he'd have a different way of thinking than we do, because he's been alive for so long. And so that gave me the idea, like, well, vampires should be like that too, because they're immortal and they've been around for a while. So that was basically the premise. I came up with this vampire who's like, he knows every fighting style that's ever been, because he's been alive for centuries. And so he has more than enough time to learn them all and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, the first issue's done and everything, and probably like you said, a year out before we get some info and some goodies, and But working with Todd McFarlane, I mean, what is the best advice you got from him, from the artist standpoint?
From the artist standpoint,
yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, he never really gave me advice on an artist standpoint, because he always just let me be who I wanted to be. Most of the stuff I went to work for him because I wanted to know more about the business side of it. Try to learn how he did business, and I learned a lot from him business side. Like when he told me not to try to be an artist and a publisher at the same time, that was something really good that I got to know. Then he also. I got to learn a lot about the way Hollywood works. Like when now everything's across, multimedia, where you're just going from, like Invincible started as a comic and now it's a TV show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the important stuff that I learned a lot working with him. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff working with him on that, because I got to see firsthand how he had to handle it and stuff.
Hey, Johnny, do you know who Todd McFarlane is?
I do.
Oh, there we go. I just want to make sure you're in the loop there, buddy.
Oh, wait. I'm thinking of Seth MacFarlane. and then I do not. I was like,
can we just click Johnny off? Can we just come on right now?
So you know who Spawn? You know who Spawn is?
Yeah.
You've probably seen the movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, he created Spawn. It's basically, he's a really iconic superhero character amongst all superhero characters. I mean, he's super iconic. And Angel, how did you end up drawing? Like, how did you get the gig for Spawn?
To be honest with you, I started out with all the Image guys when I was trying to get into business. So I knew all those guys from standing in line with them trying to get work. And so I met Todd like years and years ago, but we were never really friends. We just knew of each other. And so you know, we pass each other and say hi. And so then once all of us started getting into the business, you know, we all started going our own way. And then that's how, you know, I knew of Spawn, of Todd, he knew of me and stuff. And when I got tired of working with Marvel because they were giving me some of that, everyone gets tired of working for Marvel because you get the company political bullshit. And when I got tired of that, the first guy I thought of was Todd because he was putting out the kind of comic books that I wanted to put out. So then I just sent him some artwork, and I didn't know if he'd respond. And as soon as he got the artwork, he called me right up and said, "Hey, Angel, how's it going, man? We haven't talked for a while." And then he knew why I was calling because he says, "You're tired of working at Marvel, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And so he says, "Okay, well, if you want to work with us, just come on and work with us." And I said, "Okay."
Oh, really?
That was it.
Huh. Yeah, because you drew Kiss for him prior to that. Yeah, so it's kind of an easy transition. Yeah,
yeah. That was the first. When I first started working with him, I wanted to just Spawn, but Greg Capullo was doing that, and so then Todd asked me, "Well, I want you to take over Greg Capullo once he leaves," but we didn't know when Greg was going to leave, and because Greg was going through some serious health problems at that time. We just knew that he wasn't going to be on there that long. So he says, "Well, I'm going to keep you on board, and we'll just come up with projects." Like I was going to do a Spawn annual. I was going to do a Freak miniseries and stuff. But then Kiss came knocking on his door saying, "We want to do a Kiss book." And then Todd asked me if I wanted to do it. And I said, "Hell no, I don't want to do a stupid Kiss book." But then eventually
found out that was the right choice.
Yeah. Yes. Well, then also, too, I mean, not only did he give me creative freedom on them, because I kept saying, I told him no like 20 different times because he kept telling me. So he finally said, "Angel, do you think it's possible to make a good Kiss book?" Because all the other comic books that came out before were really stupid and campy. And I said, "I don't want to draw a comic book about superheroes carrying around guitars." And he says, no, it's not going to be like that. It can be like more like a Sandman type book. And I still wasn't buying it. And then he finally asked me, "Angel, do you think it's possible to pull off a Kiss book?" And I said, "Yeah, it's possible to pull anything off if you do it a certain way." So he said, "Well, come a couple of concept sketches you think would make a good Kiss book." So then I came up with these concept sketches of, instead of being about the band members, I made them into these like godlike entities. And you differentiated each god based on what they represented. And you could tell what they represented by the markings on their face, which took on the shape of the Kiss faces. Yeah. That's if you look at the Kiss books, you notice I really didn't try to draw them like the band members. They were just like these big Galactus type gods who had makeup on. And eventually that's how, after I did that, Todd approved it. He sent it to Gene Simmons, and Gene Simmons loved it like crazy. Finally, they said, "Okay, well, we'll go ahead and do this."
Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, I mean, there you go, people. How you can draw Spawn one day is get in with Image, people, and then draw a book about the Partridge Family, but they have to be demons or something. That'd be I'd buy it. Or the Monkeys. I'd buy the Monkeys book. They all turn into monkeys like Gleek, and then.
Well, it's funny you say, because after I did the Kiss book, I started getting offers from all these bands who wanted to
give me some bands.
The lead singer of Twisted Sister, the lead singer.
Oh, Dee Snider.
Dee Snider, yeah. Or his son came up to me, approached me, and wanted to do a comic book based first on Twisted Sister, and then they changed it to what's his name? Something Eddie from another heavy metal group. Ernie. Is it Evil Ernie?
Evil Ernie. Yes, from Iron Maiden. Yeah.
He like to do a Evil Ernie book and stuff. And I was just like, no, I don't want to get pigeonholed into doing this stuff. So
I think that's hilarious.
Requests from all these hard heavy metal bands. Because see, the other thing about the Kiss book is another reason I agreed to it is because I didn't think it was going to last very long, because Kiss had a bad reputation with their comic books. They never lasted very long because they were scanned. So when Todd asked, one of the selling points, Todd said, well, listen, just draw it. By issue 4, the book's going to get canceled anyways. So he says, we can just do this. And he goes, just do whatever you want to do with it for 4 issues. I said, I agreed to that. Man. But then the problem is when the first issue got published, it was the best-selling comic book of that month. And I thought, oh, crap, this is going to last for longer than.
Yeah. You should have done a crappier job on it.
Yeah. Well, I went all out because I thought, oh, this isn't going to sell.
Yeah. Well, how many issues was it?
I don't know. I think I stopped after like issue 15 or something.
Oh, okay.
Then they kept going after that for like about another year or so.
That's what I thought. Yeah, they did keep it going. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's funny though. Other bands like Rick Astley probably and Kenny G wanted you to draw his.
Well, that's why I was waiting for them to show up because I thought the bands were getting worse. The offers that I was getting from, because after that it was like like Metallica and that type of stuff. When we got down to Twisted Sister, I said, oh, now we're starting to get near the bottom of the barrel here.
Yeah, I like how you went from Metallica approached you. You got all the way down to Styx, and you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like
I was waiting for ABBA.
Oh, ABBA, Hall & Oates, those fellas coming around. Yeah, nice. You have any good con stories? Like some just like funny shit, or even just almost outrageous. Maybe somebody asked you to draw something like Elvis, or so a story at your booth where you just couldn't believe it.
Oh man, I got a ton of them. I'm trying to figure out which would be the best one. Do you remember? And one thing I'll tell you, one is every year when we went to San Diego, we would go to the ball games because remember the ballpark was right across the San Diego convention, and so what we would do is a bunch of us artists would get together and get a private booth to watch a game. That's how we would unwind after the San Diego con. We'd stay a couple of days later. We'd get a private booth and go see a Padres game and stuff. And every year we always ended up getting kicked out of the booth because some reason or another and stuff. Usually Mark Texeria was usually the reason why we got kicked out and stuff like that. But that's the one thing is we always ended up getting kicked out of those the games by security. And I remember the one year, the final year where we went to the ball game and the game was over, and I looked at my friend Sal and I thought, because me and Sal were the ones who put it together, and we looked at each other like, oh crap, we're not going to get kicked out this year. We've been getting kicked out every year since we won, and we're not going to get kicked out this year. And so this was a couple levels up, and so we had to take this elevator going back down. So the game is over. A bunch of us start walking towards the elevator, and do you know an artist named Buzz that used to go to these shows?
Yeah, he still goes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So Buzz was with us. And if you know Buzz, he's a hardcore New Yorker. And Buzz is trying to figure out because you had to push this code to use the elevator. And he's trying to push this code on the elevator, and he's not getting it. So he starts using the F-bomb, and he starts going, I can't get this fucking thing to fucking work, talking like a typical New Yorker. He didn't realize one of the security people was there, and it was this like older lady. She was security, but she was like this older looking lady, and she's standing off to the side, and her face kept getting red and red every time Buzz would drop the F-bomb. And after a while, she goes, some of us don't appreciate that kind of language. And Buzz, without looking up, he's still pushing on this, on the keyboard. They're trying to get the money. He just goes, well, then some of us shouldn't fucking listen. And all of a sudden I see her and she grabbed, how they got that walkie-talkie attached to their collar? I saw her and she's talking into the walkie-talkie. And I'm thinking, oh, shit, we were so close from not getting kicked out of, this year out of the San Diego Padres Stadium. And I knew she was calling backup security. I go, we're going to get kicked out. And I remember thinking, I'm too old for this stuff. I can't be getting kicked out of ball games all the time. And I saw these 2 big double doors near the back of that hall. And I said, you know what? I'm going to leave these guys. I'm not going to get dragged out by security. And so I went through those double doors. I didn't know where they led to. And I had to do something with like the air conditioning system, because when I went back the doors, I saw all this machinery there, and I go, oh, this probably is the air conditioning for all these private booths. So I walked down these stairs, and I found this other door that led me out. So I'm outside of the stadium. I'm thinking, screw that. I'm not getting kicked out. And all of a sudden, I kept hearing this clank, 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 and all these footsteps. And this clanking sound got louder and louder and louder. And then all of a sudden I heard this giggling, and it's Mark Teixeira, and he's running past me, and he had those long, what are they called? Cargo pants is what they call them. They're like shorts with all the pockets on it.
Yeah. Cargo shorts. Yeah.
Yeah. And so since we were getting kicked out, Tex, what he did is he filled up all his pockets with as much booze as he possibly could. And so the clanking I heard was Tex was running past me laughing with all this booze in his pockets. And then after him was the rest of my crew. They ran all past me. And then I saw a bunch of the security guys running past after them, trying to catch them. And I'm just walking like normal because I was just like, that's why I left these guys.
Good old Mark Teixeira. How do you say his last? Did he say Teixeira or Teixeira?
I call it Teixeira, probably Teixeira, but he just
Teixeira, isn't it?
Yeah, just like the baseball player. Well, used to be a baseball player for the Yankees. Yes. Johnny, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Angel, if you could draw for anybody, any company, any DC, Marvel, or draw any character, what would it be?
Spider-Man.
Didn't you already do that, though?
I already did it. That's why I'm doing my own comic now. It's because I already did the character I want to do the most. So the only character I want to do now are my own because there's nothing else out there.
So it's all downhill from here? Like you already achieved your dream?
No. It's uphill because now I'm doing my own characters. It's downhill if I work for Marvel and DC, which I have no desire to work for Marvel and DC right now because I did all the characters I wanted to do.
I mean, Angel goes from Kiss to Twisted Sister to being run out of baseball stadiums.
Yeah.
To I want to draw Spider-Man. Screw that. Bring on the vampires.
Yeah.
And what have you been doing this whole
man?
Yeah, what have you been doing though in between? Like since you basically, because what your last published work wasn't it Spider-Man, right? Wasn't it something else?
I did Venom was a problem.
That's right, Venom. That's right. You did do Venom. And what have you been doing in between?
Oh, I've just been doing like ad stuff to pay the bills.
Oh, like okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
I got no desires because after my contract ran out with I'll tell you a real quick story here. When my contract ran out with Marvel, I was up at a show in Toronto. They have a really big show up there. It's really cool. And I remember a couple of the Marvel guys came up to my table. This was on a Sunday. And they said, your contract's going to be up in a little while. You want to resign? Because they just assumed I wanted to resign with them for another 5-year contract. I said, yeah, sure. I didn't really think much about it. And then after they left, I started thinking, well, do I want to keep drawing for Marvel? Because when I did the Venom, I went through a lot of bullshit with that company. I mean, I was literally yelling on the phone with them a couple of times. But then the next day, I'm in front of the hotel waiting for the shuttle to take me to the airport. And the guy who ran the Toronto con, he's out there too. And he's on his cell phone and he's pacing back and forth talking to someone. And after a while, he stops talking on the payphone and he looks at me and goes, oh my gosh, Angel, they did it. They finally did it. And I go, who did what? He goes, Disney just bought Marvel. And as soon as he said that to me, that Disney just bought Marvel, that made my decision. I go, I don't want to work for Marvel because my whole life, no artist ever really wants to work for Disney is because there's such a commercial entity. You get zero creative freedom with that. And so when I heard that Disney bought Marvel, I said, oh, there's no way I'm going to work for Disney. So then I just didn't resign for them. And then I was going to work for DC because they asked me to come over. And just as I started putting the pages together for what I wanted to do with them, I looked down at it and I thought, you know what? I'm kind of done with all this doing stuff for other publishers for right now. I wanted to go the Todd McFarlane route and just start doing my own thing. And so then I just stopped right there. And then from there on in, I just started making money doing ad because you make more money. I make more money doing the stuff. Comics doesn't pay very well right now because they're not selling very well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to leave the stuff that's making me money now to do, sequential stuff.
Well, what book was DC going to put you on? Or if
we were going to start. Yeah, we were going to start. They were going to put me in a one issue of the Justice League, and then I was going to do a Hawkman miniseries.
Okay.
And then, but then, like I said, I did like 2 pages of the Justice League thing. I looked down at it and I said, I don't want to do this. I just don't want to. I don't want to work for DC or Marvel. I have no interest in doing that. I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You were just over it. Yeah. And then who ended up doing the Hawkman? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know. I know somebody did. I just don't remember.
Only because
because Marvel was trying to get me to do a Moon Knight, and when I refused to do it, they got that one guy. Who's the guy who? He's real popular right now. He's the guy who has like no hair on his body whatsoever.
David Finch.
Finch. Yeah, he ended up doing the Moon Knight that I passed on.
Don't ask how I know he doesn't have hair on his body.
Yeah,
so.
I was. Other questions.
He was quick to answer too.
There's this medical condition where that people they don't have any hair on their body at all, and you can tell by when you look at their face. There's like no eyebrows. They're bald. You don't just
that's David Finch. Yeah.
And they don't have like any like shadow or anything.
Yeah. He's a vampire.
I thought there was another story left here.
No.
Well, me and Finch, we rented out this booth at the Padres game.
Yeah. Well, I was curious.
His pants fell off, and I saw he had no hair. So
I was feeling adventurous one day at a convention.
And.
No.
Story.
That's all I get.
That's how he knows Finch has no hair.
Damn you.
Well, I tell you,
man.
Can I tell you one? When you were asking me one of the best stories I had, I got a real quick one. This one's
go for it.
There was this was also at San Diego. I remember this is at the time when the Hyatt was like the tallest hotel there. You remember the Hyatt, right? Right next to the con.
Yeah.
And everyone. So, anyways, we were staying at the Hyatt, and this is my younger years. So me and my friend Sal, we went clubbing that day. And so we were coming back. We were a little bit buzzed. And as we were walking through the Hyatt, we go, oh, shit, something's going down at the Hyatt. We saw a couple of police cars parked in the front there. We said, man, something's going down here. And so we went into the lobby. We got in the elevator, and we went to our floor. And as the door opened to our floor, we started noticing there was a bunch of people there, and there seemed to be like some kind of commotion going on. And I go, man, Sal, whatever's happening looks like it happened on our floor here. And as we start going towards our room, I started saying, man, it looks like it happened near our room too. Then when we got to our room number was like 22, and I remember our door was open. There was a cop at our, standing at the door, and I was like, oh crap. And Buzz was staying with us at that time because he got kicked out. He was staying with somebody else, and they kicked him out. So we walk into the room, and it's crowded with people. And when the people split open so we could go right in the middle of it, all we saw was 2 police officers talking in their walkie-talkies, and Buzz is completely naked, lying face down, handcuffed. And I remember thinking, okay, so I just left. And Sal ended up talking to the police officers.
Man, where does Buzz live now? He's still in New York because he does a lot of West Coast conventions.
Oh, Buzz does conventions. But the Buzz lives more out on the road than he does at home.
Okay.
Since I've known him like that, not only does he spend time at the conventions, but then he'll find someone to hook up with for like a week. When I first met Buzz, he ended up staying in my apartment for like 2 weeks after I met him.
Oh wow!
I couldn't get rid of the guy, man.
Yeah, no, he does everything in California. I swear, he does WonderCon, Comic-Con, he does Stockton Con, he does. I mean, if it's in California, Buzz is there.
Oh, he does every show he can. He does.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he's still stuck with him. For a while, he attached himself to Neil Adams. I don't know if you know.
You know what? That's probably what it is because every show Neil does, he's there.
Yeah.
And Neil also doesn't miss a California show.
Yeah, Neil does a lot of shows because he makes a lot of money at those.
Yeah.
And Neil was getting, he's at the age where he can't. You notice how big his boots are?
Oh, it's gigantic.
Right. Well, Neil's not old enough. At his age, he doesn't have the strength to set that up. So he made a deal with his son and with Buzz Neil will get them to any show that they need to go so they can make some money. But the deal is they have to put up his booth. So they basically work for Neil like that.
Yeah, because
I don't know if Buzz still does that, but he's been doing that for the past couple years.
Yeah, Neil Adams his booths are bigger than Alex Ross.
Yeah,
it's crazy how big his booths are. It's Johnny's like, okay, who's Alex? Who's Neil? Who's this Buzz fella? Because I want to hang out with him.
Yeah,
like You don't want to
Buzz
hang out
will
with
land
him.
you in jail. You don't want to hang out with Buzz.
I might put Buzz in jail.
Yeah, Johnny's a sheriff.
That'll be our relationship.
Oh, that's funny, man. That's Buzz is a character. Holy shit. It's a freaking character. Yeah.
So are there what I mean, because when you hear of cons, San Diego is the number one. So is there a number two, or is there one that's coming up? Are there ones that you don't go to? Like if you got an invitation for fucking Placerville Con or some shit, would you go? What's the up and coming ones?
I think New York is number 2.
It's between New York and Chicago. C2E2 is pretty big too.
Oh, that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one, man. That's a big one. Do you do Wizard Cons? Because a lot of people don't go to those.
No, I stopped doing them
okay.
a couple of years ago. Comic-Con Revolution, the one that you were mentioning earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're the reason they came about is because I don't know if Wizard has gone out of business now, but everyone sees Wizard going out of business. And so Comic-Con Revolution decided that they're going to fill the hole that's left by Wizard. So they're taking all of like Wizard spots and stuff. That's the reason Comic-Con Revolution came to me. As a matter of fact, a lot of the people who work for Comic-Con Revolution used to work for Wizard.
Okay. Yeah. We've done Comic-Con Revolution ourselves. We actually, there's one in December that we're doing. They pushed it to December, of course, as far back as they can.
Yeah. I'll probably be at that one because I signed before COVID. I signed a contract with them where I was going to do 3 shows for them.
Oh, okay.
Chicago, Toronto, and the California one.
Yeah.
That was before COVID. So I think the contract has expired, but they keep trying to keep me up to date. But I don't pay any attention to it until I hear for sure on that, because the show you're talking about, that's still for sure.
Yeah, that one, they said it's locked in for like December 18th, 19th, something to that effect.
Right. But I can tell you that's not for sure.
No, none of those.
No cons will be for sure until 2022.
Yeah, even about San Diego doing their little mini con for November, and they even said that's just a tentative date. Not, it's not nailed in. But they're trying to push it back as far as possible. That's when I think Revolution will probably. I'd say 60-40 will happen because they pushed it way back. You know what I mean?
All the cons of this year have been pushed near the end. And that's another thing that makes them all we're not sure of them because there's way too many cons during October, November, and December.
A lot.
There's too many cons going on right now. And that's not going to work.
Yep. Johnny, you should go to a comic book convention. All right. You enjoy it. Okay. Everyone that we've taken.
Blast, even if you know comics, those things are a blast.
They are. They're black, and there's way more than just comics. Like
wrestling.
Yeah. Oh, wrestling. Yeah. If you go to Stockton Con in Stockton, California, which is pretty big in Northern California, they actually have live wrestling outside. They build a ring and they just go at it. But yeah, they're cool. You just meet celebrities and just kind of BS. And that's the fun of it. Carlos and I love the comic aspect and the artist, but man, everything else is a blast, man. Comic Cons they really are not just for comic book people. So Johnny,
I got my brother-in-law. He's not into comics at all, and when he found out what I did, I started taking him to the Chicago conventions. He got addicted to the Wizard shows for a while there, but not because of the comics. It's because when he first went to the show, he got to meet all these actors from those like 70s TV shows.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
like Gilligan and $6 Million Man. And so for him, it was like reliving his childhood. So he just kept going just to meet those 70s actors that were like the TV shows, like Charlie Angels and all that stuff.
Yeah, you always see Lou Ferrigno there.
Yeah,
like always. I remember one year, Carlos and I forgot what show we were doing, and he was, of course, he's there early, got the booth, whatever, just kind of just hanging out. And he was super cool. He talked for a minute to me, and he was really nice. And hey, come back to the booth and take a picture. And I never made it back, but
we have a game called Spot Lou Ferrigno every show. Yeah, whoever was the first one to notice Lou Ferrigno has to it's kind of like a bet, You win the bet for the first person who spots Lou Ferrigno.
He's always there. He's there. Yeah. I mean, he might pop up on the podcast right now. He's always there. Good old Lou. Just, but he's cool. I mean, I guess that's the fun of it too. Especially when you are an artist and people come early and you kind of shoot the shit with them, and that's also the fun part of it. Yeah, man, it's a blast. Carter, do you have any questions before we wrap up here?
I had a question about Bloodstain. Does he have to drink blood to stay alive? Does he even kill people to drink their blood?
Oh, good question. And does he have blood stains on his costume?
On his teeth.
That's true. On his teeth.
Huh.
Yeah, he's a typical vampire. He has to drink blood just to order to stay alive and stuff. But the concept with him is the fact that he noticed he became a vampire century ago, and he noticed that if you start this, you've heard of the vampire effect.
That anything like the Mandela effect?
The vampire effect, they use that as a loose term for anything that spreads. That's when they say, if something spreads a lot, they call it a vampire effect because it's spreading really fast. And and Bloodstain, when he first became a vampire, he was a baron, and he had this little village, and he noticed right away that if I keep biting people and they turn into vampires, the Earth's population will be dead within about a year. And so he came up with this idea of I'm going to still feed on people, but I'm going to kill everyone before I suck their blood so they can't become vampires. And so, but then he also realized that he has competitors and other vampires. So he made it his life's mission to go out and kill other vampires so he won't have competition for food. So he spends the majority of his existence over the centuries just traveling around the world killing other vampires.
I got an idea for you.
He's a vampire hunter.
I got an idea for you. You can use this idea if you'd like. Because I came up with a vampire character myself.
Oh, here we go.
But much like your guy, who apparently is a smart guy because he's been on Earth for so long, my guy is an entrepreneur. And what he has done is he has opened up his own blood bank. People come and donate blood for free. He no longer has to go and kill people or drink their blood. He gets that shit for free because people come and donate it. So he owns a series of blood banks around the world. And he just pops a straw in it like a sun-kissed and goes to town.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. He doesn't get it for free, though. He still has to pay those people whatever.
No. I donate blood. It's free. They don't give me nothing but a cookie and a donut at the end.
That is true.
And then at night, he turns it into a club. At night, he turns it into a club so other vampires can come and, like a bar, they can come in different vintages.
And that's how he makes his money.
Yeah. And at night, they call it the Vampire Juice Box. That's the name of the club.
But he still has to buy the cookies and the juice. That's where his money.
No.
Mm-hmm. What kind of cookies is your guy buying too? Are they Mrs. Fields, the good shit, or is it the cheap shit about Costco?
Oatmeal raisin. Nobody eats that shit, so he stops buying them after the first month.
Angel, don't take this idea. The cookies already ruined the whole story.
Hey man, it started getting stupid like
Thank you. The blood bank idea was pretty good, but then everything else downhill.
Yeah, after that, it just fell apart. Yeah.
Issue 2 is just him shopping the aisle at the different grocery stores for cookies.
I started thinking as soon as he kept talking after that, I go, man, I got a deadline here. What am I wasting my time with these food?
Oh man, but see, it's interesting because that's not even the main character. So is he like a secondary storyline? Is he just like? How does he fit into the equation?
No, it's a flip book, actually. I want to do like a flip book type story.
Okay.
Where on one side you have the stories with the other superheroes, which will be like a group. And then on the other side, you have Bloodstain, who's in the same universe. And you get to see the relationship between him and the other superheroes. Because the other superheroes, they don't look at him as a superhero since he's going around and killing all the bad guys.
Yeah.
But I should mention, and just to get things straight, is that by the 1980s, he kills the last vampire. And then after he kills the last vampire, he doesn't know what to do with himself because he spent most of existence just traveling around the world killing other vampires. So he doesn't know what to do. And then he realizes during the 80s that these superheroes are starting to crop up. And he says, well, what are superheroes doing? They're people with superpowers who are stopping bad guys. He goes, well, I'm a vampire. I've got superpowers. I've been killing vampires, in other words, bad guys, all these centuries. So I might as well do what they do, except they're not willing to kill their victims. I need to feed anyways. So I'll go ahead and do the job they don't want to do. So even though they don't look at him as a superhero, he doesn't care. He views himself as a superhero. And whenever they try to give him any crap about it, his attitude is like, I don't care what you think of me. In 50 years, you'll be dead and I'll still be around. So it doesn't really matter what any of you guys think.
This guy's an ass.
Or he could open a series of blood banks.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
It's the 1980s, a perfect time to invest in these types of businesses.
You know what? I have to put a character that looks just like you, Carlos, in it and have Bloodstain kill you just for the sake. I don't hope for this guy.
You know what? Here's what's going to happen.
He just needs to be killed.
I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to do that, and the next Comic-Con,
all those books.
Exactly. The next Comic-Con Revolution, he's going to be beside you at a booth signing that issue.
That's
like,
right.
I'm in this book. I feature in this book right here. And he's signing. Yeah. Oh, I could see it now.
Yeah,
and he's going to have cookies on the table. And yeah, no, the book sounds cool. My only question is, are you going to have like everyone else, a generic Superman character?
Yeah, actually, I do. I got a Superman character. He's not going to be exactly like Superman, but you'll be able to see it. But I don't want to handle him like everyone else takes their Superman character and makes him either like demented or, like evil.
Well, they try to make him.
They do like what Highlander, what they did, what a Homelander or the Omni-Man and Invincible. They try to handle him like that. I want to show a Superman that really is flawed and how he messed up, but it has nothing to do with him being evil or anything. It has to do with the fact of a guy with that kind of power trying to live in a world full of other heroes who are not as powerful as him. So that, I do got a character like that. But I think it's going to be a lot cooler than what you see other people doing on it. But he's not going to be a primary character, though. He's a background secondary character.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to ask. Is he one of those guys where, in reality, the Justice League doesn't really need to exist because we have Superman? Like, is he going to be that overwhelming of a superhero where what's the point of having the rest of these guys around?
No, actually, I was going to have it the opposite, where he's trying to follow the formula of the superhero genre, where he keeps trying to have his own Justice League. But the thing is he's so powerful, he sometimes easily forgets they're not as powerful as him. Yeah. So his whole theme is that his superhero groups keep dying because he keeps expecting too much from them. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So then eventually he develops a bad rep that no one wants to become part of his superhero group because they're just. But in his mind, he thinks, well, we have to defend the Earth. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Carlos has a bad idea. Go ahead, Carlos.
Or he can open up his own construction company, his own construction business.
Cool.
And they build blood banks.
Oh, wait a second. So it's a flip book. One side is about blood banks. The second side is about this guy that builds the blood banks with the superpowers. So they're more or less in business with each other.
There you go.
Oh, your book is gonna suck. Just suck the blood. That's cool. Yeah, no, that's why I asked, because all these superhero, or I should say Superman clones that even Marvel comes up with and Image books have them and they're identical. I mean, there's no weakness. There's no weakness to this guy. There's no one can beat him. What's the point of having him around when we know in the end he's gonna win? That's always been an issue in the movies where you can beat him, you can do whatever you want. In the end, he's gonna come out on top, and there's no way you're gonna beat him. That's always been my thing about Superman. And even though he's my favorite of all time, that's what's always just been my pet peeve of, like, it takes an alien from a crashing asteroid to kill him, because there's no other way we could explain how we can kill this character.
Well, it's funny because I always thought I like John Byrne's version of Superman because he toned down his powers. That he's still very powerful, but not as like omnipotent as he is before that, you know. And that whole omnipotent thing, that's why the comics in the 50s and 60s of Superman were so silly, was because rather than having him fight anything, they put him in these really dumb situations because no writer knew how to handle a character like that. And so I kind of agree with the whole power thing. I just don't like the trope that's become of it, where now it's just like, you know, what you were mentioning before of how now they all become clones. And it seems like everyone, as soon as they come up with a Superman character, they have to handle them the same way that everyone else is handled. You know, it's funny because I talking to my brother, he's the one who I bounced these ideas off for my characters. And he was telling me one time, my brother told me one time, he goes, "You're going to need another writer to help you because you got way too many characters out there." And I told him, well, I'm not going to use all of them, but I also said I don't want to bring in any other writers because I know they're going to try to go along the same tropes that we've seen a bunch of times. I've got this one dark character who's dark only because he looks dark, but he really isn't dark. And I know if I bring in another writer, they try to do their version of Batman. And all my characters that I'm doing, I want to have them with a much different personality than you expect from seeing than you usually see. For example, I've got a speed character, you know, who has the power of speed.
Yeah.
I didn't just want to make him like this guy who had like the Flash and whatever. So I made him this character that when you look at physics and Einstein, when he explains the speed of light, he says that if we humans had the ability to move the speed of light, our view of reality will become distorted. Everything would start looking like globs and stuff like that because our perceptions are not, you know, evolved to take things at that speed. So I came up with this idea with this character that I got, that his senses readjust themselves the faster that he goes. But after he stops running, he needs his weakness is that he's weak for the couple of minutes after he stops running because his senses are trying to get back down to earth. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to readjust back to normal because they can't just adjust, because when he runs, his senses all adjust to the speed. And then when he stops running, it takes a while for his senses to come back. So he wears these specially made goggles for that, but still he's you know, his weakness is right after he uses his power. So he can run really fast, but the few times he does run, he tries to avoid going maximum speed because the faster he goes, the longer it takes for his senses to come back.
Johnny, you can ask him if you want. I know what you want to ask him. So you can ask, are there any Asian characters in the book?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there we go. There's your answer, Johnny.
The other concept I got in my characters is that I always frustrates me how many of them superheroes are in the U.S. I scattered all my superheroes like more evenly around.
Oh, okay.
Like the whole world. Like one of the main characters, she's going to represent. You ever watch that movie Coco?
Yes.
Yeah. She has that. She's like the Earth's sorcerer. It's a female, and she wears that like skull face.
Yeah. Like a Dia Stilis Mortis, yeah. Uh-huh.
Right. And the thing that gets me is her main villain is called La Llorona, and they just came up with a movie.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that's all my characters are spread out. Like, for instance, my main... if I did have like a Superman type character, meaning not Superman, but you know how Superman...
Yeah.
Superman's the main... like the most popular of them. In my universe, it's going to be a female named Lady Lightning, and she's Greek. She's actually from Greece. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So your Superman character is female.
Right.
See, that's okay. Okay, good. Carlos, since you're a writer of some kind, I guess, all of a sudden, what country do you want to see one of Angel's characters from, and what power should they have?
Good question. Do you have any heroes from Portugal?
I got one from South America. I decided where it should be from Portugal again.
What is he? What's his thing?
Oh, he's I wanted to create a character that, you know how these guys are called, there's supposed to be mystery men, where you see them with a mask and no one knows who they really are behind the scenes. I wanted to create a character that was a true mystery man where not even the fan ever knows anything about this person's alter ego. They just know that this guy's a masked vigilante. He goes out there, but no one knows anything about their other side. So I wanted to introduce this character. His name is Sin Nombre, That's Spanish for without name.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't even have a name or anything like that. He's from South America, but people don't really know generally where from. So I haven't decided exactly where he's going to be from. But throughout the whole series, we never find any. Because his character is so mysterious, he barely even talks when he goes into action because he's trying to keep himself as secretive as possible. So he doesn't let people don't know what he's thinking and all this other stuff.
You should create a guy called Pamphlet, and it's Carlos passing out pamphlets for the blood bank. That's it. And just kill him right away, though. Don't even.
I was gonna say, if I could choose any character like Carlos, he won't even last one panel.
That's what I'm saying. Give him 2 panels. One passing out a pamphlet, second panel death.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all we need. Do we have water characters? Is that we're gonna get ourselves a little Aquaman action going here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're covering all the bases.
Yeah.
Because of course, you know this already, but Eric Larson covers everything.
Yeah.
Eric Larson creates a million characters, and they're all variations of things we've seen before.
Yeah.
So, but he changes.
I don't want to make mine as obvious. I want to make sure that there's like a real twist to them. That it's not like, oh, that's that obvious that's this type of character. Like for instance, my Flash character, he's a black guy from the streets. And so because I didn't want him to be like, oh, he's a takeoff of the Flash. And then with the limitations of his powers, you just see like, oh, okay, this guy, the only thing he has of similar with the Flash is that he can run real fast. But even that is defined different. And so all my characters, I put like a twist on all of them that I'm hoping makes them separate from, you won't see them as like big copycats or anything like that.
It doesn't matter who you create. Someone's always going to say, oh, well, that's like this.
Oh, yeah.
You can't really be original. I mean, what's the last original character that you could think of that was really big in mainstream?
Right.
Bloodstain.
Well, we don't know what he looks like yet. He could be a midget. I mean, when I think of an original character that's huge, I think of Spawn. I do. We all know the influence of Spawn, Batman, Spider-Man, whatever. But that's the last original main character that I can think of that's not necessarily, oh, he's just like this or he's just like that. And he's not
I'm not trying to create anything original. I'm just wanting like a different twist to them that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's hard to do original these days because everyone's gonna say.
I don't think there isn't an idea out there that has not been used. Exactly. So I'm not even trying to come with anything original. I'm just thinking if I put my own voice to it, then that should be enough to.
Well, yeah, because if you give characters like you said a Batman type that. But we kind of get the idea that he's kind of a take on Batman, but he's totally different, right? I mean,
yeah,
and that's the best you can do. You can't really do much else than that these days. It's hard. It's hard to all these books that pop up on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Every time you see these original characters, you just think, oh, you just did Superman. Okay, cool. Like, thanks. I'll pass.
What about a bear that gets superpowers? Because a nuke dropped on him while he was in the zoo.
You want a bear?
Wait, how about the other characters, other animals, though?
No. Just the bear somehow is the only thing that gets powers. The bear.
What if the bear was just in a wilderness and they're testing a nuke in the wilderness?
That's like too close to Godzilla. That's too close.
I mean, and his zoo friends like the sloth is hella fast now or something.
Oh, instead of super slow. Yeah. I hope you're writing this stuff down, Joe. This is gold. A short giraffe with short legs but long neck.
But I do have a bear character in there. So when the comic comes out, if you see this bear character, I don't want you to think that I'm taking that from you. All right.
All right. Well, okay. Yeah. We'll pretend that.
Oh man, that's
good. But what about that vampire guy? He sounds pretty cool.
He's badass, man.
But he has to be an entrepreneur. Come on now.
No, he's not going to be an entrepreneur in my book because when you're a vampire, you don't need money. You just need blood.
What? What? Is he homeless?
No. He actually has like I say, he was a baron.
He was a baron. That's right.
If he needs money, he knows where to get. Like all he has to if a vampire, if he needed money, all he had to go is get like the sunken treasure. There's billions of sunken treasure out there in the oceans, and that's all he'd have to do. But my character, he doesn't need money. All he needs is blood to sustain himself. That's
So
all
he's
he
a
needs.
vagabond.
Ants, the blood
What's
banks.
He's a vagabond. He just travels around, or like
Yeah,
he doesn't
yeah,
necessarily need anywhere to live.
Right. Because he travels around the world and
Now I picture a homeless vampire with a metal detector looking for money.
you know what's funny? I do have a homeless character, and the homeless character that I got, he was supposed to be the freak when I was working for Spawn. And after when Greg Capullo left and I got Spawn, I got 4 pages of the freak page that I did for Todd, and I came up with the idea. I don't know if you remember who the freak was.
Yeah.
I was gonna make him a homeless character. And then when Greg left, I didn't get to finish the series. And I thought, man, this is too good of an idea that what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this character and use him in my own universe. But he literally is a homeless character where he walks around with like a shopping cart full of stuff.
That's the guy you should draw like Carlos. Make him look like Carlos.
Yeah.
Make him. My last question about the book is who is the main villain? Give me some insight on the baddie of the book.
The baddie of the book is going to be like a Thanos type character.
Oh, okay. So like an overarching villain then.
Yeah.
Got it. He's also
right.
He's not saying he's also from outer space.
Yeah.
Okay.
He comes to our planet because there's a reason he realizes that so many humans are evolving with superpowers. So he wants to create an army full of superpowered.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So he wants it for himself.
Right.
What a son of a bitch. He's always trying to take other people's
Do any of your
shit.
characters have tattoos?
No tattoos on your characters?
I never even thought about that.
Yeah. Cool idea for a character. Tattoos come to life on him.
That's the Tattoo Man.
There is a book like that actually, but he puts it.
Batman has a villain like that. It's called he's the Tattooed Man. He's in Arkham Asylum. His tattoos come to life. Yeah.
But see, the catch here is like his tattoos. He like gets weapons tattooed on him and so forth, and he can use those. And anyway, you can have that one, even though Batman stole it from me. Damn him. It's all right. Well, anybody that's got anything else to talk about? Chit chat. Anybody want to say anything else, or before we wrap this up? Everybody
I got
good?
a question for all you guys. Being
got
as
it.
your artists, do you ever get requests for art to be done? Just instead of just a sketch, but like let's say I wanted me, Rick and Morty riding the Matterhorn at Disneyland. Can you guys do that?
Commission. Sure.
Oh yeah, it's commission. And then do you guys do that? And if you do, then how does someone get a hold of you?
There you go.
That
Angel.
question's
Do
for
still-
you, Angel.
Angel, do
Apparently,
you still do commissions?
I do a crap load of commissions.
Okay. And any info?
The
on
money
that?
I make from the money that's coming out on doing Kickstarters. The commissions, they're going to fund this book that I'm doing. When you asked if I do commissions, I just accepted 25 from a group in Japan.
Wow.
25 people got together, so they don't have to pay the expensive price for shipping. They all came up to me with a group and said, we want these different pieces. When I finish them, then I put them in one box, and then that way they don't have to pay for it. And that's just one. I got a huge list of commissions.
Nice. What's the going rate for your commissions?
It depends on the size. Because, like, for instance, I just did one right now.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the size and how many characters you want on there. Because I charge by figure.
Well, what if I want 11 by 17, 2 figures?
Oh, 11 by 17, 2 figures. Let me see. I'm going to do the math in my head. That would be, I would say, almost 400. That's just pencils. That's pencils
Sold.
without inks.
Can I get Rick and Morty riding the Matterhorn?
That's actually pretty fair.
See, I'm very picky about the commissions I do too. I don't do stupid shit.
What? You drew
wait.
Elvis one time. I saw it.
Oh, I won't do that ever again.
Wait, hold on. Is me, Rick and Morty on the Matterhorn? Is that a stupid idea?
Oh, see, he wants himself with Rick and Morty on the Matterhorn.
Yeah, it was a general question, but I'm kind of interested.
The fact that you even have to ask.
What if it's Batman, Robin, and Johnny on the Matterhorn? See,
all right. What if it's me, Iron Man, and Batman, and we're going into a blood bank?
Oh,
Yes.
son of a bitch.
Yes. That one's free, my friend.
No, he
Is-
won't
is-
draw that shit. God damn.
I
you
wouldn't
people.
draw that shit either.
Remember when I told you this was like only my second Zoom thing? This is why, right here. What's going on right now? This is why this is only the second one right here.
Oh, man.
Well, this
Will it
has
be
got
your
to be
last?
better than getting kicked out at
All
a
the,
Padres game. I mean, come on. Like,
you think
how bad are we? If,
I come here thinking like, let me enrich the lives of anyone who listens to this, and instead, this is what we're getting.
You did. You
man.
enriched all 10 people.
Oh, man. Good times, man. Good times. All right. Well, that's our show. Thanks for tuning in, Nerds Talking the podcast. So from Carlos.
Bye-bye.
And from Angel.
Bye. Thanks for
There
listening.
you go. And from Johnny.
it's not a stupid idea.
What you mean, the Rick and Morty thing?
For sure.
Okay, but Johnny, just do me a favor.
Yeah.
Say bye in your native tongue.
Fuck you.
All right, there we go. And I'm Lafayette. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show here on Nurse Talking the Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and download and listen anytime you want on your favorite digital app. See you next time, Nurse Talking.